I'm Harrison Bond, and I'm a senior from Lakeview. Before coming to Jesuit, I attended St. Dominic and Christian Brothers. I entered Jesuit in the 8th grade, and I'm in the Track 1 Accelerated program. Next year, I hope to attend the University of Georgia, the University of Texas, or Vanderbilt University to study business.
And my name is Juan Martinez. I come from a public school right next door to Jesuit, Esperanza. I live on New Orleans East at Chapman Tour Highway, so it takes me 2 bus rides and about an hour to get to and from Jesuit every day. I entered Jesuit as a 9th grader, and I am the regular college prep track. I am hoping to attend LSU or Spring Hill and earn a degree in engineering.
Now, I've learned a lot at Jesuit. I've learned about derivatives and the transduction of cell signals. I've learned about the 14th Amendment and Machiavelli's theory of government. I've learned about existentialism and transcendentalism. But the most important things I've learned here didn't come from my textbooks. In my work as the president of the senior class, I've learned that leading is serving, that true leaders use their God-given abilities to enhance the lives of those they serve. In my work, I've made and strengthened many friendships with other Blue Jays, and I've learned a ton about teamwork. I've had such a fun and fulfilling year because I'm doing what I was meant to do. I'm trying to be a man who considers others, and by this, to live AMDG for the greater glory of God.
I share my day here with more than 1,000 students. Jesuit is a big place, but I find it very comforting. We share the same uniform that all Blue Jays have worn for the past 80 years. We share the same rules and principles that have been developed since the school was established in 1847. We share the same Blue Jay spirit that has been passed on to us and that now we take care of. And this makes me feel secure. When I walk down the hall and a student nods at me and says hi, I get a sense of unity and belonging. When a teacher takes time to help me in a tough concept, I feel cared for. So to me, Jesuit is like a family, where your parents push you to do your best, and they're always there to help you succeed.
As I mentioned earlier, I didn't intend on being on the student council. I envisioned myself as a basketball player. Unfortunately, a major crisis in my life cut that dream short. See, at the end of my 8th grade year, I was diagnosed with cancer. It was a very aggressive, though very treatable form of cancer, but that meant that my treatment would be a whirlwind. I was called out of my Algebra 1 class on a Thursday morning, and by the next night, I had had 2 major surgeries and had begun chemotherapy. Jesuit was a huge calming influence during this crazy time. Now, during this time, school was the last thing on my mind, but Jesuit was faced with a predicament. What do you do with a student who has to miss an entire quarter? Obviously, I couldn't be expected to keep up with the full workload, but at the same time, Jesuit knew they would be doing me a disservice by not teaching me anything, so they came up with a plan. I'd be expected to learn the essentials of my materials, but they would be flexible in the way that would be taught. My teachers were amazing, and they went out of their way to help me during this time. You know, I can still see Mr. Levy, my Algebra 1 teacher, coming to my house in the middle of the summer, wearing latex gloves and a surgical mask to teach me an entire quarter of math in about 3 hours. I'll never forget what Jesuit did for me during this time, pushing me to be my best, but at the same time showing me so much compassion, flexibility, and support.
I want to end at the beginning. I want to share with you a story of how I made it into Jesuit. So one day while driving to Esperanza, I asked my dad, what school was that next to Esperanza? And he said, that's Jesuit, one of the best schools in the city for very bright students. Then I stared at the school for a second, and then I told him that I am going to that school. My dad smiled at me and said, son, our family will be very honored if you went there. Your mom and I will be very proud, and we will help you every step of the way. That was a really, really important day in my life. I will see the Jesuit students coming out of the Carrollton and Bank store, and I'll picture myself in their shoes. During my 6th and 7th grade year, I raised my grades up from C's and D's to straight A's and a couple of B's. I felt like I was ready. So in 7th grade, I applied to Jesuit. During my placement test, I was so nervous, almost as nervous as I am here standing talking to you. But at the same time, I was glad because I was finally going for what I had worked for so much. Then the big day arrived. The letter that will tell me if my hard work had paid off. I opened it. Dear friend, not dear Blue Jay, as I had hoped. I didn't make it. I felt really bad, really, really bad. But then I thought to myself, Juan, you worked so hard for this. You can't just let it all go to waste. So during my 8th grade year, I was dedicated to make it into Jesuit. That resulted with straight A's. So I tried one more time. I took the test and I was just hoping to God that I had made it. The letter arrived. Dear Blue Jay, I made it. I was so happy. I was running around, half crying of joy. Then my dad came up to me and said, son, I knew you could do it.
We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different stories. We all take different paths to get to where we are today. For Juan and me, Jesuit High School has been a huge part of our journey to success.